say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, nah, not for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough, but never ball. In the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me the raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting, daddy wasn't brave, and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves and amazed with our burdens, trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person, but if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I know there's people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.
What up, y'all? This is the real Remy Red. I'm sitting here. Kev, what did I do? That's how it be. You know, it's real. It's how it gets down. It's the real Remy Red. It's why when you have guests, you gotta just, prep him. I ain't prep him, He stays in the gun world, which is exactly why he's here today, because he stays in the gun world. Why are we here today? You know what I mean? What am I talking to you guys about today? I had my therapy last week. I had my daughter. We've been going through a lot, and it was good, and I felt good. And, I got to talk about a great man I lost. And then we come back to reality. We come back to what's happening in the street, what's happening daily to our people. And, I try not to dwell on certain things too much because it gets depressing. But the reality is there's a world I see happening that I don't know if people are paying attention to. And what are we talking about? As Black people, we have a momentary satisfaction in the George Floyd case, a momentary satisfaction of a guilty charge on a murderer who happens to be a police officer, which we damn near never see. If you have, I think it was 216 killings of African Americans, and I think we've only had 6 trials, and I think it's been 2 or 3 convictions. And I always tell Black people, don't get too excited, because what does that mean, guilty, in the white man's eyes, with white supremacy being the main run of our political system, our government, our court system, our police forces? How much time is he going to really be in it? Will it be just? Is that really justice? But before I could even get to that and really get into the case, I feel the police went out as angry, spoiled children do and made a ruckus. The problem when they make a ruckus, people die. And I feel like in our fight to hold accountable the so-called bad apples that you hear them talk about, the police showed us that it's not a bad apple, it's the whole system. How? By killing 3 people within 24 hours of the verdict, and between killing, I think it's 64 people since the trial. That's 64 Americans, 64 people, and Black and Latinos leading that more than half. Think about that. So I brought in my boy Kev. Why? Because for me, there's 2 parts of me that I like to talk about. One is waking up my people and the accountability, but then I have to have a solution. So what's your solution, Remy? Is knowing how to protect ourselves, knowing how to arm ourselves, knowing the law, so that you can protect yourself and have a chance, hopefully a small chance sometimes, but a chance at freedom after defending your life. Even though I tell all of you, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 any day. And the only way to be judged and stand up with your head up is by knowing the law. So later on, Kevin is going to talk to us about guns. But first, I'm going to bring in my big homie, a friend of mine named Face of None. And he's going to talk to us and share. He's an activist. He's a philosopher. He's a teacher. He's a mentor. He's been a bright light and an opportunity for me to share. You know me, I always talk about how Black men, we have to find avenues and people to speak with. We got to start talking to each other and communicating and learning how to build together. And this brother is one of those people. and he has a lot going on that I want him to share while he touches on this topic. I also want to hear from Kevin. So when we come back, we're going to hear from Kevin too, hear his thoughts on that. We don't always agree.
Does it have to be so serious right now? I mean, not does it have to be so serious. I was just pee. That was like fun. This is the first time
If you guys haven't seen Kevin before, you already know he's extra. And he's going to say something that all of us are going to go, really, Kevin? Really? Like that. So we're going to go to commercial.
Yeah, y'all should try this. This is like therapeutic.
What is?
I'm shooting little pee.
Shooting what?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go to commercial.
So here it is, y'all. Are you tired of being censored, shadow banned? Shit, are you just tired of creating content and making these platforms famous? Well, I'm asking you to support OTW2. It's the Black YouTube. Why, you may say? Because our content is important and necessary. And because anytime we tell the truth, they shut us down on their platform. So we are behind enemy lines, so we cannot complain. We just gotta move accordingly, smarter. So since we know many of our people won't just jump ship and go to a black site, what I'm telling you to do is don't post everything that is great on their platforms. Give them per people a 10-second snippet, a 15-second snippet, and make them come to OTW Tube and come check you out. Support black things or stop complaining. There's only unity, and black economics can change our situation. Wake up, y'all. OTW Tube is where it's at.
Thank you. To the guys in the back, I always want to give a shout out because I forget sometimes. I just try to throw questions at them, but I want to thank Kier and I want to thank Casey. As we always know, with the voice of Casey, Kier is always saying something appropriate. And
shots for y'all, lick some shots.
They help me do everything that we do here. I just want to tell them that I appreciate them and that you're still not getting paid, but I do appreciate you. So, yeah. Face of None, how you doing, brother?
I'm well, brother. I'm well. Hello from the East Coast.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to do you no injustice. So do me a favor, introduce these people to who you are and take a minute to knock them off their feet real quick. Tell them the fight you're fighting with.
Well, I am an activist, former youth pastor in the DMV, the tri-state area, our nation's capital. I've been doing so for over 10 years, serving the community to some way, shape, or form. And I've been doing activism I've been doing activism once again about a measure of 10 years. For a great portion, I'm sorry, I was getting an incoming strange call. Yeah, hang on, I'm so sorry. I've been getting, so I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So about for 10 years, I'll just take my earbuds out for a second. 10 years, I've been basically facing off with different groups against white supremacy, the institutions, here in the nation's capital, specifically helping other state organizer groups to basically navigate some of the politics here in the nation's capital, because everything that goes on around the nation kind of hubs here in Washington, D.C. It kind of all comes to a head. With my background in, teaching youth, I also have come to instruct various activists nationwide, some international. I am now constructing something called the Black Pantheon, an archives for our people. It is basically like our Jedi archives, if you would. Everything from our most prized possessions, speeches, poetry, literature, PDF copies of the rarest books that can be found on planet Earth. They are housed in the Black Pantheon. It is a huge work of scholarship. It is now at 90 gigabytes and growing. It'll probably be well over 2 terabytes once gets to a decent point. But that is also being used to create material for various activists to get educated on. And I've also been instructing various activists in how to understand white supremacy, understand the mindset, psychology, the history behind our adversary, that being the institution that's instructing these people to be so destructive for the 6,000 years that they've been on this earth. And understanding also the racial caste system, how it all puts us in to context underneath, so to speak, or as they would desire underneath, but we don't submit to that. But helping us understand that racial caste system and how we can better beat it and tackle that. And I'm also working on organizing various groups around the nation to better facilitate to fight white supremacy, but that's more of a covert thing. So that's just a brief. But yeah, back to you.
All right, all right. I mean, there's a lot more even to that, I bet. But I do appreciate people know that you're multitasking out here on different levels on all fronts, and that you are one of the few people that you can say not only posts about it, but is about it when it comes to hitting the streets. I appreciate you for coming on today. I mean, a lot of people know who you are, Kev.
Me?
Yeah, I know a lot of people know who you are, but tell them a little bit about yourself. Tell them about the kickoff of the world.
Long story short, all right, it's my brother right here. This is my younger brother's big brother right here. Okay. Other than that, it's an influential brother. When I was at a certain point in life, I am a sole proprietor business owner. I own a printing company called Masterful Printing. But we're not here to talk about that business. I have a side venture in which I got interested in because he interests me in guns. He was showing me some things before, and not just bringing a gun to me and saying, yo, look at this gun, but showing me some things about gun education. And I wasn't quite interested before until I got into a situation. And the first thing that came was, let me call Remy. Let me figure out if he knows how I can get a gun. And it wasn't because of that situation, like there's somebody standing in front of me, I want to kill them. Yo, can I borrow your gun? No, it wasn't like that. It was, I watched some of these videos a little bit more. I kind of enlightened myself, and I was like, yo, you think maybe? I'm from New York City. In New York City, you can't own firearms in the 5 boroughs, all right? I'm not going to allow you to quote me on whether you can or can't, because obviously there are people who do. I do know as a fact, 1% of people in New York City actually get their CCW or even a pistol license to handle a pistol in New York City. So being from New York City, most guns that you see, we're familiar with them being illegal. All over America, I traveled for a living previous to owning a printing company. All over America, if I ever seen anybody with a gun, I thought you were illegal. I moved here to Los Angeles. I had a really close friend. He was a brother that had a gun. And I clearly asked that brother, don't ever bring your gun in the car with me. I'm a businessman. I don't deserve us to get pulled over and go through anything, because in New York, a gun, any type of gun, as a matter of fact, is an issue. And I'm going to put it to you for real, like this right here. This right here in New York is considered a gun. It ain't got no firing pin in it. It don't have a trigger in it. It don't have a magazine release in it. It doesn't have any internals. It doesn't have a slide on it. It doesn't have a magazine in it. It doesn't even have ammunition anywhere around it, but it has a serial number on it, okay? And I guarantee if this gun was the SIG P320, damn, I done jumped all into my stuff now. But I guarantee if this was a different gun that has a different trigger unit and the trigger unit is serialized and that's considered the gun, I guarantee you in New York that if I came through with this, they would take me to jail and try and prosecute me, even though I could prove this is not a gun. But this being a gun, for most guns, just the lower, which is the serialized unit, they consider this a gun. This 3 years in New York City. I don't even want that around me before this brother introduced me to rules, laws, safe gun handling. So he started there. I had a lot of free time. And oh man, I turned into, the person, I adopted this as, one of the smartest things that I could have adopted. It puts a lot of extra knowledge in your life. I like to have fun. I like the jokes. I like to do everything that's considered for me. And this was considered for me, but this is the one thing that ain't got no jokes. involved in. Honestly, guns, no jokes.
Well, see, said, before I go on, let me just touch on one thing that I like that he said. In our community, we have been mentally brainwashed that for us to own a firearm, it has to be illegal. In our community, we've also been brainwashed that we walk down the street and we protest with no plan and we take the ass whooping that they give us because that's how you protest. And both men that I have on don't agree with that in one bit whatsoever anymore because of knowledge. Face of None is actively training people how to protest in a strategic way to protect themselves and be safe. One of the things I don't understand anymore is in 2021 or in 2020 why people were out there without gas masks, without a plan, without being organized, when we saw what they did to our elders and our ancestors. Knowing Kevin now, it blows my mind when I see Black people who still buy illegal firearms who don't have any felonies. They could take a test or, you know what I'm saying? But it's real.
No, here, listen, just to interject where you at. This is dead serious, all right? With firearms, wherever it is that you're at, make sure that you research what it is to get one right there, because it's not the same to get one in
every
different
state,
places.
Yes.
In New York, you can own a firearm. People who live in Yonkers consider themselves being from New York City. If I'm going to be technical, I'm going to say, yo, y'all are in another county. You ain't from New York City. But somebody from Yonkers, Westchester County, Long Island, they New Yorkers. As long as they're out of them 5 boroughs, they can get that pistol license. And you know how many rough people come from these areas? And you don't, and I'm only using the scheme of saying rough people, because
we know what it means.
You know, not even that. It's normally the rough people that push the narrative of I'm rough, I'm gonna get this illegal. And then it scares the people who are actually knowledgeable enough and willing to do it. They just wanted your support.
Yeah. I think too,
they just wanted your support.
I think too on an activism front, to answer one of your questions, is like the people that were out there. I know in the nation's capital, we had a problem where I'll be honest with you, this last round, 2020, was a lot of allies out there. And a lot of what's been happening is you got the Gen Zers coming out there. They're trying to protest. A lot of them, the problem that I had as a teacher was a lot of them didn't know their history. And, you know, a lot of what this gentleman's talking about is absolutely true. It's like once people get educated on owning a firearm, the few times that Black people in history, me being a history major as well, when you see Black people being taken seriously in history, it's every time we're armed and we're serious.
Can I say something real quick, just so I can change that a little bit? That's why I have you on and I had him on at the same time.
Yeah.
I want people to understand, I'm not telling you to go buy a firearm. No. What I'm telling you is, in this time in history, why is it our people do not know how to defend themselves? And I say it like that instead of saying firearm, because what you do in teaching people how to protest is defending themselves. Mm-hmm. What he's doing with firearms, he'll even tell you himself. We don't just talk about firearms, we talk about self-defense. Right. I even teach and sell self-defense insurance. So I don't want people to think that this is just a conversation about guns and protesting. No, it's a conversation about defending yourself on all fronts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because neither one of these men are telling you go out and hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? Both of these men are saying it is a clear attack on our community.
Oh, yeah.
There's a clear attack at this point in history and in this country. And Face of None, as a history major, will also tell you that it's been a calculated attack on us for years. Yeah. And my thing that I'm saying is that in 2021, with so much information at your hand, why are we not defending ourselves?
And I think that, to piggyback on what you were saying, is that a lot of it is getting to the instructional point with our people. Because I got a lot of young people in our community, in the African diaspora, locally, they were asking, look, we came out of 6 to 8 months of protesting on the streets. I mean, winter, summer, rain, sleet, snow, what have you. And they came back with no legislation. In fact, our voting rights were attacked in several states. And we all know the drill. People still getting shot and everything. And I introduced them. I said, when in this country, we've always had the type of allies that are willing to fight with us to a certain extent, but not to our progress and benefit in the long run, where it's solidifying our right. They always want us to have some sort of rights or privilege when it comes to us just getting to a certain point, as long as they're holding our hand. You know, as long as they're there to supervise, oh yeah, you know.
That's why I don't call them allies.
Exactly. It's more of a lie, right? It's more of a lie than allies. You know,
think about it. On a regular day, and because me and him have been all over this country, but on a regular day, white people will beat each other's ass for nothing. So they're running out there and getting their ass whooped, especially knowing, and we've seen this, especially if you protest. I protest. I don't know about you, Kevin. I know you have face of none, but I've seen cops swing past white people to beat my ass.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
So they know what the extent of what won't happen to them. And if somebody white dies in a protest, the whole world is like, oh my God.
Right.
Now, on the same tip, I'm not trying to badger nobody because I appreciate them for coming out. I appreciate them for even taking that ass whipping. But as you always know, y'all all know me who watch this show, I say black voices because I speak to my black people, my melanin people. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, me personally, and this is just my sole response to what I'm about to say. Nobody else agrees with this. I don't know if they do, but I say this. I'd rather be carried by 6 than judged by 12.
No.
The other way around, right?
Judged by 12, then carried by 6.
Thank you. It's a long day for me, y'all. And I say that because I'm very nervous about what's going to happen to me when I'm put in that situation, because I've planned and set my life up to be able, or for my family be prepared for me to do the thing that I think I should do. And the problem I have with black people is they're going to look at me and go, well, you're looking for a problem, or you're an instigator, or you're a troublemaker, like they told Malcolm and Martin, not realizing that Breonna Taylor's, the Arbery's, the Bryant's, the Browns, you can sit in your apartment, you can call police for help, you can get into an accident, or you can go jogging, and they're still going to do the same thing to you. So when are we going to start defending ourselves?
Yeah. And I think that really goes to another fact too, is with our community, we have, this is an interesting season in history, because we've got also a checks and balances happening within the black community. People are questioning. Of course, we've always had questions about Black Lives Matter, but now I don't know if you heard or not, but Tamir Rice's mother already called into question Tamika Mallory, Black Lives Matter. And then Breonna Taylor's own mother, Miss Palmer, she came out and also said that there were some problems and issues, and brought to the surface how, with a lot of what's really drawing our people slowly, I believe is going to draw our people slowly together, is that we're seeing that behind a lot of this tokenism, happening within our community, the Tamika Mallory's, the BLM, the founder of BLM, spending $3 million on real estate, but yet she's a trained Marxist. We're seeing that every time, from the point we left the shores of Africa to the, moments that they came to the indigenous black tribes here, and, they started to enslave them as well. We've always had these in-between people that are always willing to take a backseat deal and get the paycheck to sell their own community out, and I know that's a whole nother conversation, but, a lot of the thing that people are seeing is that it's going to take entrepreneurship. because we have to fund our own resources, fund our own basic hospitals and educational centers and resources, even community defense. When you look at every ethnic group, they've got some kind of a muscle. And how's that muscle funded? That muscle's funded by all the surrounding businesses. Uncle Chan on the corner can have a problem with, Mr. Wong on the corner in Chinatown, on the other corner in Chinatown. However, at the same time, they call the Yakuza in a minute if there's a problem. They call that the Irish. The pubs may not. You Scottish, I'm Irish, but look, we got this thing. There's a British new restaurant on the corner. We got problems. They're starting that stuff. They have their code, And I think what we're starting to do is we're starting to see if we do not stand together, no one else is standing for us. There's a lot of people with Gen Z that are, on the LGBTQ flight, and they think that these are the good white people that know exactly what we're going through and everything like that. And there's nothing I have against the LGBTQ community. There is an agenda that the United States has globally against us through that community. I have nothing against them, but what Gen Zers are starting to find out, as we millennials found out, they're just another plantation. They're just literally over the summer, this last summer, watch their organizers. What they do is they set up nonprofit organizations to do work on behalf of the Black community, but they pocket the money, and in pocketing the money, they go into the Black community. They then have power to say what you do and don't get. They then have the power to say what the narrative is for your movement. So that's why I really do believe that a time for changing the title of our movement is important, because BLM is attached strongly to that branding that they prefer. It is, to me, I guess you could say historically, like a form of modern colonial branding. That's their colony. When you see that flag, that's the Black folks that are coming and finding the little villages to bag people up and put them on the slave ships. Because I'm telling you, when protesters, when protesters in Washington, D.C., let me tell you something. We've got over 80 different types of security forces, law enforcement in every government building in this city. So when the alarm goes off, you could get hit by CIA, you could get hit by Secret Service, you could get hit by Capitol Police, you could get hit by Park Police. Park Police are brutal. I mean, just several different, all these different kinds, and then the city police, so they all swarm together. You could be talking about
6.
Yes. They were all somehow off. That was another thing in this city. It was, when they charged the Capitol, they were all suddenly off. But
voices, every last one of them was missing.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is that anyone who does protest in this city knows is when a Black person gets in trouble in this city, the whole game goes that they're actually prosecuted and held in jail while the white ones are let out. So
fool, he was sitting in the jail he's still sitting in jail actually.
Who's that?
Exactly.
The one Black guy.
Mm-hmm.
The one Black guy. The guy with his feet on the table got out. The motherfucker that put feces in the Congress got out.
They let them out?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man.
You want to say something? You smiling?
Nah,
you smiling? Say something. Get yourself in trouble.
Nah, not trouble. This is number one. All right, and there's some real. I got to be me. So a few curses may come out, shit like that. I don't mean no.
I like how he slipped in while he was saying this.
Yeah, I don't mean nothing by this. I didn't protest. I don't protest. I ain't got nothing against it. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna be one of them people out there walking on the streets. Nope, I'm a hustler. Word to mother. And I gave the protest a break. And I'm just saying, I gave the protest a break. I know somebody went out and made $75,000 one day at the protest. Word to mother, one day. And you know what? The hustlers is at every protest ready to get paid.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
preach, spend money with black business.
Right.
All right. That's our opportune moment to get money.
No, I'm not mad
I
at you.
personally took off so that I wasn't there trying to get money on such a serious issue.
No, I
Honestly.
appreciate that. That's dope.
I technically don't hustle at death. Prince, Michael Jackson. I hustle Kobe. I tore Kobe ass up too. I hustle Kobe. I'm sorry, damn, I'm sorry. I don't care about all that, B. I don't care about all that. I'm 44 years old. I don't come from the gotta say no homo era. I don't care about all that. What I'm trying to say is,
So you know if you don't say no homo, grandpa, you get it.
Nah, that's not the case. I'm not in the industry. I'm not in the industry. You're in the industry.
I'm from Boondocks. I'm just fucking with you.
No, but you're in the industry. You have to. You're in the industry. You have to. You can't say what I just said.
How you gonna tell me I'm in?
You're in the industry. You behind the camera. You be bent over.
Pause.
Okay. Yeah.
On track. You see
Yeah,
what
like I'm
saying?
No, what I was trying to say is some things seem like it has to be a fight to get our brothers, and I don't know this brother, so I'm not gonna say him specifically. But some people, it seems like I can't tell you I don't understand what you're talking about. He talking about millennials, Gen Z. I don't understand none of that. Totally lost my focus when he went millennial, Gen Z.
The communication level,
and it's not that brother because he knows how to communicate things that other people understand.
Yeah.
But there's nobody breaking that down to the people who don't understand that and bringing us up to that level.
But in face of none, that's what I was talking to you about when we were talking earlier, because I was talking to this brother about taking the information he has and put it into tutorials. And he was like, well, it's been out before. And I said, no, in your own words, because he's a teacher. And I said, if you break it down for the dumbest person in the room, the smartest person will get it. So the problem I have, and like he just said, is when I do listen to, especially before my name got bigger on social media, but when I used to follow people that I really looked up to, I got so discouraged from what the message was, like he said, because they would be like, we are our nation, the national people, or the original this, and we're this and we're that. And I'm like, I'm just black. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And so it would go over my head. Even now, I will make a great point and say something.
You said over your head. To me, that's a disrespect, B. Fuck your over the head information then.
No, and I get that.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. But I was like that too.
So stop shooting over people's heads. Start shooting two to the body.
That's a great analogy. And that's where I think I'm trying to get you to understand why you're so important.
Oh, make sure I ain't cut him off.
You did.
Damn. The thing almost fell on my ear. I'm sorry.
Oh, hang on. Let me try to reestablish connection.
All right, I'm calling you right now.
I had you on the earbud. Hang on.
Oh, no, we good. We just like right now we chop.
We
good. I want to stay on this point. That's the point of why I was telling you about taking that information you have and teaching it to so it doesn't go over our head. Because you got two people. He said it, but I did it. I used to curse people out online. You ain't better than me. You ain't better than nobody. That's why I got more people listening to me than you do. Because you think you know better than me. You talking to me like I'm a dummy. And I'm very intelligent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, the point is, and this is what I think me and you were talking about, where I had to learn. Is it about being right? Or is it about our people getting the message?
Yeah.
And so many
exactly.
want to be right. I know better than you. I'm right. So what?
And as a history major, I hate when other, scholars, historians, archaeologists, people who have read a lot, they make it an argument in this culture, this kind of Greco-Roman culture thing where they always debated in Greece and Rome. And, we kind of pick this thing up, but it's like, for me, it's all about, do my people get it? And is it something that we can take with us, a role, and understand each other? And it's like, it's gotta be, and I think because it's like, as a history major, I love talking about history, but the one thing that my favorite history teacher told me is that you can read all you want about history and love it, but just know you're not going back there. And it's like, so the conversation needs to be more of,
one more time, somebody missed it.
My history teacher always told me, one of my favorite history teachers always told me, he said, you can read all you want about history and love it, but just know you're not going back there.
Exactly.
And the thing is like I cherish the history of indigenous Americans that are black and black folks in the Caribbean and Africa and everywhere in the world, but we are here right now. And when you look at civilizations and people groups in every era, they didn't ask where their mama and daddy came from. They remember that. You know, they put that necklace on their neck and remembered it a little bit, remember Granny and all those things. But they don't want us to look in the past. They want us to create the future. And so I think that we have to have a sense of let us define who we are as a people. You know, if we don't want to call it African American, we don't have to call it African American. You know, there's times in history where black folks have been around each other and we became several different ethnic groups, you know, just because, you know, that's how we wanted to mix it. But I think where we are now is that we're beginning to develop a vision. When I'm looking at what's happening online to different businesses and social media platforms such as yourself and the other gentleman building businesses, that's the commerce that's going to build the future. And that's where a lot of these, you know, younger people, you know, the Gen Z the teens and the early 20 people in their early 20s, they come to intermediaries, you know, and kind of like myself that can, you know, I'm 32, you know what I'm saying? And they can kind of understand me as that bridge point, you know, and I can kind of translate to the older, brothers and sisters and, you know, kind of translate to the younger brothers and sisters. You'd be surprised how they need the instruction and wisdom from their elders. I mean, I always say that it's like one word from a 45-year-old man will have all the young black men at not just a protest, but any meeting that are dedicated and are out there and putting themselves out there. They'll have them standing at attention. You know, when they speak in that spirit of, I want you to learn and I'm here to guide you. I'm not here to baby you. I'm here to guide you and protect you with my wisdom and insight. You know, they take on to it like a fat kid to cookies, you know?
Face question.
Yeah. Yes.
You got to start this thing. I just thought about this because I'm being serious. I'm listening to all of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like the narrative that it's white people, black people. That's what he interested in, or if not him, that's what other people is interested in. I got many people of other races. That's my good friends.
Oh no, no.
You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I'm just telling you, not having the information that y'all have every day and being part of that, and make it feel like it's me against you or us against them. Just start a black list of bad white people. Burn them over. Just start a nice list and let that shit be 2 billion names long. And let them white people have to do everything they got to do to get off that list. If that's what it is they're going to come off. But as I'm saying, it almost make me scared to say I got white friends and I'm sitting right next to you. And it's no disrespect to no one or nothing.
Okay, you know what? I'll say this. But it's good to hear that
there's
narrative.
A white dude hitting me right now on my phone. I told my brother I'm doing a podcast. He hit me. Word, kill it, brother.
So here's the problem that I have with people who say what you said. And no matter how many times you tell people this, it's a narrative that people like to hold on to. No one's telling you to hate white people. But while you call him your friend, he is actively doing nothing to protect your life, your brother's life, or my life. He'll love you to death. He'll tell you to kill a podcast. He'll like you. But what's common with 99% of every white person that I can tell you I've been with, and you can talk to black people if they want to be honest. The minute you talk about pro-blackness that doesn't have anything to do with them or criminalizes them, they're quick to tell you, I'm not like that. And here's the problem. When I talk to a woman who's been raped and she tells me about her pain, I don't need to tell her I'm not like that because I already know that. My part, what I do is try to make her feel safe because I know that as a man, even though I'm not that person, as a man, I'm triggering to her. White people have a hard problem doing that.
I'm not lost for none of that. I'm not lost for none of that, and I don't get lost in that narrative, and I'm just being honest, okay? Come on, man, how many motherfuckers got to go to work and work for that white person? If my largest contract printing shirts was from a white person, I'm gonna take the contract.
No
Now,
one's telling you not to.
I'm not saying I'm gonna take it because it's money or because it's a white person. I'm gonna evaluate that shit just like I evaluate.
But there you go. If you make that point, you miss what I just told you.
I think if I may interject,
Often that shit gets missing. Y'all motherfuckers make people feel stupid who don't catch that fucking point.
But you can't get mad at me.
Not ready. I'm not mad at them.
No, but you're very
Everybody's
passionate.
not
But
ready.
you can't get mad if you're not listening or willing.
If I can,
to be told, some motherfuckers got to hear shit 15 times. Some people are dyslexic. Some people don't understand what other people.
Guess what? You're very passionate.
Some people have.
You're way more passionate than you've been the whole time, right? Because it does affect you. What I just said affected you.
It only if
to make by our example and our interaction for other people to learn from is that I'm not loud. I'm not judging you. What you're feeling is your own feelings about what I'm saying. And you also, if you want, and again, listen what I'm saying, only if you want to change, have to also be patient in what you're learning. And
there's a lot that I don't agree with, number one, which that don't matter because that's how some people handle themselves.
If I may,
motherfucks only white girls. Word.
Yeah, but let him finish.
My brother's.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, good brother. My brother's only interaction is white girls, but I'm not looking to get into that debate. Like I know, and I can't say right from wrong. That's how that brother lived his life. You understand? And I'm not gonna change it. Like damn. So if something happens to the black people, is my brother not gonna stand up for black people or? It's
but
not
who said
like
that?
And no, listen, it sounds like that. And if you don't understand that, I'm just showing you from the outside looking in how some of your narrative, not yours, but how some of
also the perception of the person.
Okay, it's a perception.
That doesn't make it justified.
Too.
Opinion is justified if it's somebody's. And I'm just showing you. I'm just showing you how other people may take it.
Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think you know how you're feeling, how he's feeling is absolutely valid because what we've got in this country, we got a culture that puts pressure on anybody who tries to unify anything. And we're ironically called the United States. And I mean, let me just say that in the protests, my main function by my own elders in this community was to create a bridge with allies. Because when I grew up first of all in a church with a white pastor. Now my experiences, I believe it was in the era of Obama, about 2007. Long story short, my pastor got very racist because suddenly there was a black president, and he started changing things. Now that man does not account for all the good people that I know who are of other diasporas, other ethnic groups, everything like that. That doesn't account for any of them. And the thing that how I look at it is that when we have a conflict, on the basis of what this country is going through, it doesn't mean that the whole group is bad. It is an ideology that group may actually take to, that being white supremacy, that may be beneficial to them if they so ever pick it up and use it. It's like a card in the back of their pocket that they can always use or something they can subscribe to, and we, being people who by epigenetics, we're often kind of tense because we don't know if they're going to use it one day or not. We just don't know. We're like, hey, he could be my friend now and, totally go, hey, at a Nazi convention, not saying Nazi, but, he could, kind of snub me in the midst of all his other white friends or Hispanic friends or Asian friends. It could happen. And we always have that at the back of our minds that, this skin may out me at any second, but as long as they're being kind or respectful or nice, we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the growth period that we got to go as Black people are kind of, once again, we're gaining our humanity in this country. That's one of the main things, is that we feel that we need to excuse ourselves for having a diversity of friends. Asian people don't have to do that. White people don't have to do that. Latino people don't have to do that. Well, higher in the racial caste system, you know. But
no, but let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
There's never a time you hear an Asian person sound like Kevin.
But
yeah.
You never sit here and defend the fact that they have to have white friends to their Asian family.
I'll definitely say Asians think that they're white adjacent.
I'm not even talking about that, but go ahead.
But
Yeah,
that
see, that's kind of true. Yeah, that's true.
But I'm talking
Yeah.
about
not to have to defend to their family. They
Yeah.
got a white friend, but I do know a few close Asians that there's some other Asian factions that they can't bring home.
yes,
Mhm.
but that's within Asian factions.
Mhm.
But Asians are so proud with who they are, they don't have to defend or even want a white friend. When they're in the Asian home, it's all about Asians. It's everything about Asians, and they don't care about Black people, white people, anything. They know they have a parallel with white people, as in they won't be oppressed, they'll be doing the oppressing.
Mhm.
But they also know that in their household, it's that Muslims, same thing. Indians, same thing. White people and Black people are the only people who really, well, white people live on everybody else's neck, and Black people live our life making white people happy. That's the problem I have. And I can be
And
the
it-
bad guy on this show, but that's okay. I just wish that Black people could understand, I don't give a fuck if you have a white friend. I don't give a fuck if you do business with white people. That's great. How much are you doing for your people, though? You see what I'm saying?
And that's the thing.
I'm telling you that you need to unify with your people, that you feel like I'm telling you that you hate white people.
Right.
Sometimes you
And-
got to come with a disclaimer. It's
It
not
shouldn't
that-
have to, though.
No,
in my opinion,
look,
in my opinion,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell you that being pro-Black means that you don't hate white people.
look who's being loud now.
Yes, because now I'm passionate.
Okay, so
And, but
Honest-
unlike you, I can admit that. I'm not denying that. But that's the biggest driving force of why we keep dying. We want to make white people feel good. And I say this because my page is open, and what I do is open, and I have white clients. If you don't like the fact that you're not the center of fucking attention in my life, and that I am fighting for Black people, don't do fucking business with me. Don't be my fucking friend. I've lost a lot of so-called white people who don't fuck with me no more. And it's sad to say 90% of those people showed their racist card when Trump came in office.
And I'll be honest with you, there.
you can't have a friend if you. It's almost like you can't have a friend. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to explain it. Just as hard as.
So you don't know
say-
Shannon?
Who's Shannon?
The white girl whose daughter is my daughter's best friend?
Mm-mm.
With Jordan? With the leaks?
Nah, I never met them.
White girl. White
Nah, I
friend.
never met them.
My best friend from childhood is Kenny. He's a white guy.
No. I'm not challenging any of that.
But
One
no, but
thing
you
I
just
like.
said it's like you can't have a white friend. And I'm telling you,
No, not you. I didn't mean you.
no. I didn't say you said, but I'm showing myself as an example that I have white people in my life who understand where I stand, allow me to have my voice. Not even allow, because that's the wrong choice of words. Know I have my voice, still interact with me, still do business with me. And I'm telling you, the only person that has that problem, when, in my opinion, when I hear a statement like that, is you, not the white people in your life.
I don't got all the right answers. Number one.
No, but that's why
I got.
you're here.
Hold up. I don't
You're
got all
here
the right
to
answers.
be-
Number
to
one.
give them
Number
a
one.
voice.
Number one. I'm gonna shout my man. I got more than a few white, and I'm saying this, and I hope you see this. If something happened to me right now, a couple of my white friends is coming to get me, just like
Yeah.
a couple of my Black friends is coming to get me.
Yeah.
The shit that's going on, I don't got no strife or clash with any of my white friends.
So
None
let
of
me
my
ask you a
white friends,
question.
hold on, no, listen to me. None of my white friends, and I'm not saying none of them, because maybe a few of them, not that I know, but anyone's, and I'm gonna go for the past 20 something years, I hustle every day. You understand? I hustle every day, run from police, jump fences, all that shit. I do it with white guys, okay? Just because I hustle with them don't mean they're the same as me. But my culture, since I was 17 years old, there are a few white guys that live this life with me, that go through everything it is that I go through, that are willing to help me out like I'm willing to help you out. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying those people would die for you?
Goddamn right.
I think there's a good quote.
It's been tested, not death, but you goddamn right. I've had problems with a mob of people. And that one white man, Dave, and I'm going to say his name, Dave Russ, you can look him up. That one white man stood in the trenches with me and told the man straight up, I'm going to knock your fucking block off if you say another word to my friend. And that was another white man. And that was the thing at that.
And I think too is
hand on my heart.
I've had experiences where, you know, at the protests, I had Homeland Security pull up right behind my car, and you know, they were just sitting there. They were just sitting there watching me, you know, clocking me for about good 5 hours. White ally friend, they asked me for ID and everything. Can I see ID and everything? And he was looking at me. My white ally friend came in, and he just offered his. He said, "Here, I'll give mine." He doesn't need to give his. And so he stepped in and made sure I didn't get profiled that day. Also, July 4th last year, I had an ally that witnessed, you know, of all places, Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C., right on Pennsylvania Avenue, about a few blocks away from the Capitol building. Allies sat with me in one of the most racist moments of my life, where police literally ripped my bags off and everything. This was like fireworks still going on in the background now, and threw me to the ground, and I mean was profiling me and everything like that, and threatened to tase me, you know. So they're definite. I think the wisdom that we gain from history and the wisdom that we can gain from just living the realities we live is that friends can be made while empires are still at war. You know,
I say this to both of y'all.
You know, yeah.
Think about how detrimental it is to our people that the both of you just spent 20 minutes to praise white people and tell them how good they are, as I'm telling you that we should be talking about being more pro-black. That's the mental Stockholm syndrome that we have, that we feel that we have to let them know how great they are, let them know how much we love them, if we want them to be our friends, if we want them to be by our side. And I'm not doing that. I cannot judge either one of you. And I'm not going to say I don't have good white people in my life. I had a white guy who I consider a very good friend of mine. His name is Nick, who, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have died from COVID. You know what I'm saying? Because he used his white privilege. And
are you not just praising the white guy that you just said?
I'm not finished.
No, but you just told me and the man that we just spent 20 minutes praising white people, and you're praising white ass Nick today.
Here's the difference is I let you finish your statement to see if your statement would have anything added to it, and it didn't. And every time I try to talk, you cut me off. So let me finish my statement.
Say it.
So yes, I know white people just like both of you do. But if you guys didn't bring this up, I would have never brought Nick up. If I didn't need to show a parallel behind the fact that I was going to do a whole show without having to kiss Nick's dick or kiss anybody's dick or tell white people how great they were, but I made an example showing you that I know the same type of people you do and did not feel the need to praise them, to let them know that I don't hate them.
So lead by example instead of making me and this instead of making me and this fucking man feel less because we didn't see the shit the way you seen it. Lead by example and show us, bro.
I did.
You did not. We didn't take it like that.
I mean, because to me, I didn't see it.
I'm seeing it. So how am I making them look like shit when they just sat here both and just tried to tell me how there's great white people that made me feel bad, but I'm the bad guy? Please tell me.
You ain't got to be the bad guy.
Come from the outside and tell us how that makes sense, what Kevin just said. Casey, I'm talking to you.
I'm sorry.
I need an outside person who's been watching. I know. Tell me how that, like, am I, it's
the fact you don't think it makes sense. That's the demeaning thing right there.
What was the question?
So he's telling me that I made the both of them feel small and that I should lead by example. What example am I supposed to lead by when the both of them just sat here and took 20 minutes to praise white people on Black Voices Uncensored?
I don't think. I mean, to me, I don't think that it's necessarily worshiping, because to me it's like I don't believe in pampering them. I believe in being real with white people about their shit. I'm the kind of person, if you fuck with my people, I'll be straight dead honest with you. I'll be straight dead honest with you. Now, you do my people right, understand that's not going to be a collective bonus for all white people to get their ass kissed.
So question. Ask you honest question.
Yeah,
Did you not feel that you had to make to say that they were good white people? And if you don't feel that way, why did you do it?
well, I think I did that for the sake of relating to another brother. I can understand where he's coming from, but that's where I made that quoting statement. Empires can be at war, though we can have personal experiences that may be positive. That doesn't mean that the structure isn't still supporting those white people that we know. That doesn't mean that
So am I not wrong in saying that what you just said is saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, that just because there's white supremacy and racism doesn't mean there's not good white people?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we may have good experiences. So there's a separation between good experiences with a person. And I mean, if they could be giving me good behavior, but by my age, I know one thing. I could have a good friend for about 10 years, and then on the 11th year, they could fuck up and just totally turn tail. So for me, it's day to day to day to day to day. It's one of those things that I have to see what they do today. I have to see what my own people do today. It's like up until a certain point, my experiences with them, with these few people, may be good. I don't know what they're going to turn tail and do. So my trust wouldn't be in them. It would be in, okay, you treat me all right. I'm going to give you my ear for a second. You don't have my undivided attention. You got my ear for a second. What is it you want to talk about? If you want to talk with me reasonable. So that's the thing where I think we can come and be balanced and say, yeah, I have good experiences, but that doesn't mean I'm kissing their ass all day. The empires are still at war. It's like, yeah.
I feel like where the misunderstanding came in was, Kevin, your idea of, or your interpretation that pro-black means anti-white, when that's not what he was saying. But from someone that's in that world all the time, that's always something that he has to make sure people understand. So so with you, you're not hearing that all the time. What you're hearing is what he's saying without, like, sometimes you got to give a disclaimer, unfortunately, because people that are not in that world, they're coming in with a fresh mindset, not with the mindset that Remy, you might have after, saying this over and over again. Cause it gets for you, it gets tiring having to explain it cause like you're explaining it to different people every freaking hour, in comment sections or whatever. But for him, it's fresh to him, whereas you were speaking on, being pro-black, he's saying, no, I know plenty of great white guys. And now it's like automatically the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to defend my folks who have supported me, for 20 years. I'm going to defend my folks that I know will ride or die with me who are not black, but it's not necessarily him saying that to be pro-black, you have to be anti-white. I think that's where the misunderstanding came in.
And that's why I said the words disclaimer, because I'm saying to the person who's, as you just enlightened me, whose ears are not hearing this every day, which is a lot of people, it makes them feel like they on the other side of the board because I'm not as you, whoever you is. I don't follow too much of the movements, but it seems like everybody flipping out on my son now. The brother said he want to get paid for his work, or he gets paid for what he do. Or I watched that part. He said, do you not expect me to get paid? Or he didn't say that, quote unquote, but he explained in some type of way he gets a check. Word. And there was many people attacking the brother saying, where you get your check from? Who you get your check from? You get his check from George Soros. I don't know who George Soros is personally. I know that everybody who sells his name says that he's like the devil, says that he funds anarchy.
He funds all sides.
Okay. Now
And genocide.
he's funding, who is it, the Tamika lady that y'all spoke of?
Mhm.
He's funding my son. It seems that they've been absent in a lot of these situations that have been going on. They were present for some things, I guess the things they got paid for.
So here's the problem. The problem is not that you're getting money. The problem is you're getting money and it's not helping your people. It's only helping you as an individual.
I happen to, and I fuck it if it goes anywhere. I happen to remember my son. I'm from the Bronx. He's from the Bronx. That's
Right.
somebody that shook hands with.
Right.
I think the brother went to jail for robbing cabs. His own
Right.
type of people, our type of people. My next door neighbor, knock, knock, knock. The Dominican man next
Right,
door
right.
got a $2,000 radio in his trunk. And we're going to stick that man up for that radio and go now. And I'm saying this, I got an uncle who I look up to, right? And my uncle's mantra used to be, yo, how you going to tell me about something when you doing wrong yourself? Okay. Now I don't see it to be like that. All right. I happen to believe or listen to some of the outside in banter sometimes because it gives me a look on whatever it is I might be in. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it involves me.
Right.
If it involves what I do for a living, my gun
What
handling
does that have to do with
skills.
the mic dude, though?
Say that again.
What does that have to do with him, though? I'm trying to figure that out. Because you brought up him robbing cabs. I'm like, what does that have to do with
What I'm trying to say is he's going to take what he takes from wherever he got it from back then. Am I to now think that he can't be a good guy because he was bad back then?
But that's what I'm saying. You missed the point again.
No,
Is that-
he's a good guy from what I could see. I don't know too much about, the circle.
Probably.
I'm looking and I'm like, damn, man, the brother's going to fight. The brother's up there. A lot of people praising him. You know what I'm saying? But then I finally just seen something where it seemed like it was the brothers that was praising him was knocking him because he was collecting some money for doing what it was that he was doing, And the way it looked to me for sure was like, I didn't think about that. Could this Tamika girl be getting paid for this? Could this brother be getting paid for this? And now I'm hearing people like how the brother just say, yo, I don't know if you heard Tamika Mallory buying $3 million in real estate. I was just like in my brain, like, oh shit. But I know there's a lot of money in their activism. I know that there's somebody and just how we talking, was gonna say a white guy who's willing to, get into the middle of what's going on by giving them that check and telling them to go shop for you a house. I know you need to live outside the hood.
That's the problem. Him doing that is the equivalent of him robbing his neighbor. And so with the two questions you asked that don't parallel to what you just said is, am I to believe that because he did wrong in the past that he can't do good in the future?
That's one, yes.
But the problem is if he's still doing the same type of action in the future, then he never changed.
So check this out. I don't know if you ever heard me say this. Things change, people don't.
But that's not true. Let me explain why to you. Because he
robbing now, just like he was robbing then.
Hold on. You know me the longest, right?
Yep.
What I used to do.
Smack the shit out of motherfuckers.
What I also used to do.
Rob
Sell
motherfuckers.
drugs.
Sell drugs.
I don't do any of that right now.
Okay.
And I've been offered money when I had bigger platforms and when I was doing things. I purposely never took the money because I knew what I was standing on my feet.
Right now.
So it's a choice you make.
And during that choice, it didn't make you a different person. Something in your life changed. Kari got older. Your wife came into your life.
But the point is that all those things happen to every one of us and we have to make a choice.
Yeah.
He still chose to be the same crooked motherfucker. I chose not to be.
Yes.
Was I not homeless?
You chose not to act
Was
out
I
the
not
same
homeless,
way.
though?
Yeah, but you chose not to be.
So what I'm
that.
trying to say to you is that a man can change, in my perception, because we've always had this conversation. You may not think he can. I think he can. I think any man or woman can change if they want to. My problem, with so many black people that face of none said earlier is we have too many people that jump ship when shit gets hard.
Yeah.
And they take those checks from the sorrows, knowing that, here's the thing is the problem. Crystal made a joke to me the other day. Had a bad dream. I said, babe, I had a bad dream. And guess what happened in my I said, babe, I slept with a white woman. She goes, that's okay, because if you did that, the first thing I'm doing, I'm going on social media and telling everybody. Okay. You see the difference? Because everybody knows me, knows what I do. So if I slept with a white woman, I'm playing myself to the point where everybody deserves to know I'm playing myself.
Now,
I
Do
think
so.
like,
Now,
for me,
you
what
got no. You
here's the
need it.
difference.
Hold on, go
You
ahead.
got white bay agenda that play on your
Yes.
thing. All right.
Yes.
It makes it look like you're knocking that.
Here's my thing about it. And I tell this because I wish I could call him right now to tell him to call. I've had black brothers come to me who are pro-black, who are like, I'm ready to leave my white wife. Don't you do that. Because you fell in love with somebody that took care of you, decided to be there for you. I'm going to tell you, you're playing Russian roulette. And see, the problem with people, and I hate to do this to you, like you, I'm going to read y'all something real quick. Because if you only take what you want to hear, then you don't hear the truth. And I'm going to say that again. If you only take what you want to hear, then you don't hear the truth. What does it say? White Bay agenda. White Bay. Why play Russian roulette with your life? Are you thinking about the effects it will have on you or your children? History and current events show that when it is good, it's good. But as soon as it goes bad, you as the black person will always lose. I didn't tell anybody that. All I'm saying to you, and listen to it. If you listen to it,
Brother, it's not me. See how you just put it on me? People like you. I'm offended. Hold on, listen. I'm offended at that personally.
But you just said
Listen
that to me.
I'm telling you, I'm offended at that personally, but that don't really matter. I'm just telling you, Remy, what it looked like.
You just pointed at me and said,
I just was telling you what the narrative that you call it looks like. It looks like you shun a black man who got himself a white woman. That it looks like, and I stated that look.
I think
I'm
the
thinking about
stigma.
I just said it looks like, brother. I said you got white bay agenda.
Please go back.
Listen,
Please go back.
I think that some
The
people,
thing is like I think
brothers like white pussy. All right, there's three things: sex, money, and drugs. A lot of motherfuckers gonna do anything.
I think that
and drugs.
I think like
your family affiliation gonna matter, and who you are in life is not gonna matter. Sex, money, and drugs comes up for a lot of people.
I think what the problem that I really see. The problem that I really see is in our community. It's not who you're sleeping with. It's the fact that, pardon the term, but some brothers may get pussy whipped by the snow bunnies. That's the problem. And women getting dick lashed, and the problem is that okay, they got white bay, but then they go from being totally for their community, totally serving their community, to flipping and becoming like a Candace Owens, and now, oh, well, black on black crime, and that's why I'm not donating to this, and I'm not giving that, or they start pumping the brakes on their own community. Or it's also the narrative that some brothers, we brothers do it, and sisters do it too. There's this conflict of once they get a white bay, they start turning trash and start talking about black men. Black men ain't this, and we say black women ain't that, because they got this other person. And that historically weaponizes every site of a relationship that they could, like you said, Remy, there could be people that that are already in a relationship. It is genuine. She's taking care of him. She was with him when he was in the gutter or what have you. But in our subconscious, what's implanted is all the social environment that we have going on right now, with saying, because this person is, that means I ain't shit, and I'm in comparison. When the white man steps in the room, every black woman is looking like, ooh, what is he wearing? What's his watch? What's his shoes? What's his shirt? And then compares subconsciously every black man in the room to him and what he says. And I watched it in protest. They go snow bunny chasing. And then all of a sudden, I literally have seen white women disrespecting black women in the protest. And as a slightly older person, I call it out. I'm like, no, you don't get the white snow bunny out. And they're like, no, man, I'm trying to get with that. I'm trying to hit that. I'm trying to get these snow bunnies. You're messing up our situations. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? And then I have to try and say to these younger sisters, it's like, no, there's some good brothers out there. Well, look, he's going for the snow bunnies, and vice versa with, the way black women act towards, bringing in their biracial baby and saying, well, my baby father, we're trying to work everything out, but let that baby father be black. She gonna try and get him in prison. And there's just different cases that I've heard so many times. Young brothers getting thrown under the bus, but let it be White Bay.
So okay. So we really got.
I know we kind of derailed. It's another subject, but yeah.
The day.
Oh no, because I got, and I can't let this go. I'm sorry. If this shit don't get into guns, we're gonna get in these guns. No, because he said something. Y'all could use me as example. That means you be boning white women.
Oh yeah, KC likes the flavor.
Well, see, I don't discriminate. So the thing with me,
so you're trying to make it sound like you be getting Indians and all that.
Right.
So this,
but
no, I know what you're saying. But we've already.
I don't want to seem like I'm opposing him.
No, but I'm just letting you know he does. That's why he said it like that. He's a hoe. He fucks up everybody.
Okay,
it's like Pokemon for him.
He cleared on the show. He's a hoe.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, no, I gotta keep it real. No, I gotta keep it real. I'm only here entertaining such because once again, you my brother on another level. You understand? Anything you got to say about this, I have to respect because I know who you are in my life.
Why I love you too, and why we're doing this and why Face is here, it's not about us agreeing. I need strong, and this is one thing I want to say real quick before we go further. The reason why we do this Black Voices Uncensored and the reason why these brothers are on for people who are watching is the conversation, the reality, the realness, the transparency you're seeing right now. We don't see enough in our community. There is somebody out there who's going to watch this that associates with Kevin. There's somebody out there that associates with Face, and there's somebody out there that associates with me. And I'm going to use myself as an example. The person that thinks like me has a brother, a sister, a cousin that feels like Kevin, and they don't talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they need to. Because this is what's important. If we can't talk without hating each other, come on, bro. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And so go ahead. So
the conscious push.
Yeah.
All right. The conscious push. Since seeing your growth, doing what you do, I'm more conscious in Black things.
Right.
Period. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I did have emotion involved in such because once again, if you say it, I'm with it.
Right.
All right. There's been things that affect my life that you've taken care of when I'm not there. And the same thing vice versa.
Right.
So just like, I said, I got some white friends who's coming to get me. And I said, oh yeah, same as my Black friends. I don't even need you to come get me. Because if that's their job to come get me, I know you're going to handle some other things for me and help me out. Like you've called me before and said, yo, Kevin, I need you to XYZ for my family, my wife, you know what I mean? It does make me feel more comfortable listening to Face of None. You understand? Because I'm tuning in without an earpiece to hear what he's saying. That's how loud it is what he's saying, his message.
Yeah,
real talk. What I mean?
It is. I'm happy you came in.
I understand a lot more. I think a different word should be made, not protest. Because just protest makes it sound like whatever that white narrative is they give us.
Word of my mother, you're right. I agree with you.
And I'm going to be a little more active because now I'm listening to the brother saying I'm in the trenches. And I know this is a regular brother who gave you his time like I gave you his time. Because he gave me his time because I gave him my time. We in that triangle.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that disclaimer that I was talking about, it should really be no matter what you did, if you Black, you can always come with us.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah.
You understand?
And what I want people to understand and why I ask these brothers like this. I'm sorry, my mic fell. I'm not just filling up on myself. The reason why I always try to keep Black men like this around, and I wish I had some more sisters, just so y'all ladies know, I don't have any. If you want to come on the show, please do. But I truly,
not that freckle face girl. I wouldn't debate with her no more. You used to have a real blah, blah, blah friend, whoever she was. We're not going to say your friend. I'm just going to say she was your friend. But she had all the freckles on her face and she want to fight about stuff. Word, you can't even call her cute.
I don't know who that is.
You know what I'm talking about?
Please don't have no dusty shea butters on here. Please, no dusty shea butters.
Freckle face girl from when you first started. Word to mother. Oh my gosh. And then she be twirling around on the pole, showing the pussy and all that.
Oh my God, I know exactly who you're talking about. Okay, we're not gonna go there.
Just you can't have her.
No, okay. Actually, anyway, moving on. I know exactly what you're talking about. Moving on. Brother, one of the things.
Not her, yo.
When we get off, I'm going to tell you face another who he's talking about. Anyway, the whole reason why I do this, I truly believe if black men can figure out how to communicate, we can save our people.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes, yes,
and a lot of why I say what I say is because a lot of people do take my message wrong sometimes. And the only way to truly teach is I have to now figure out, like, honestly, what I'm going to take from today, and we're not even done, is I need to figure out or change and stop using captions and figure out how to change the caption so I don't lose a brother who is sleeping with a white woman who may want to fight for his people. You understand? I don't want to alienate anybody who's black who wants to find their blackness. I'm not that type of brother. There are conscious people out there who very are, fuck you, you went over to the devil, you can never come back. I'm not that person. My person is, I feel like many of our people have been brainwashed for so many years, they have no self-love. And I would rather you drive down the street and give the same pass that you give to a white person to your brother instead of you pulling your brother out the car or shooting at your brother. I would rather you look at a black man who stepped on your shoe the same way you look at a white man who stepped on your shoe, who you let continue to walk down the street instead of shooting your brother. That's my point, that I need black people to understand, in my mind, it's black first and everybody else second.
And white people were strong creating whoever the fuck Hey Buddy was. Word of mother.
Hey Buddy.
Whoever the fuck Hey Buddy is, they were strong creating that, because that's the motherfucker you let pass you after you step on your sneaker. Because you feel like you be wearing the Africas too. Yeah. I wouldn't step on the Africas. You know what I'm saying? Word of mother, I wouldn't step on the Africas. So, I understand what you're saying. And it was gratifying to hear you say that little piece, about your narrative or your, because I had reached out, we had talked about my son for a minute, right? And just me being a t-shirt motherfucker. And my son wasn't my man, but we knew each other. And I had reached out, got the printing company, you know what I'm saying? Holla back. He doesn't know the stuff that he be wearing, I be printing. It just comes through somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I tried to help him out. Now, or not I tried to help him out. Let me not say that. I reached out to the brother, you know what I'm saying? And he never responded. He never responded. And I thought about it right now because for you in my life, there is the guy that I see on social media, and then the guy I could come to his house unannounced.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's two different people for me. That's one person for you.
Right.
But that's two different people for me. And that just kind of sort of merged a little bit. You know what I'm saying? What you saying, you heard me, the person in the comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like that, and I know that's where a lot of stuff get lost.
That's a strong point.
Go ahead, Face.
That's a strong point too, because I've always said to a lot of the people that I train up with activism, there is no community without a common unity. I think a lot of what we do is we build economically our spaces and cosmetically our spaces, get the paint color right, the dress right, the shoes right. But when I've seen and faced off with Proud Boys, neo-Nazis, Klansmen, the one thing I can say about every other ethnic group, and we're forming it, the hope is there, they've got a love for their people and themselves. Yep. They've got, when they say Heil Hitler, when they say, Sig Heil, when they say their thing, they almost get tears in their eyes for their culture, where they're from, and where they're going, And the thing is, for our people, I believe we're forming that as we're building our businesses, as we're learning to form, militia groups or whatever we need to do to defend our spaces, to defend ourselves. We don't do so out of malice and hate and trying to come for the other guy. we're doing for the love of our family that's sitting at home, so that your child can walk home safely down the street, so that we can control the spaces of that which is most precious to us. It's not the money in the bank. It's not the gold watches we wear. You can take that, but leave our sons, our daughters, our nieces, our nephew, our grandpa, our grandma, mother, father, what have you. That's what we're fighting for. And I think once we get that center of love of self and love of our community and our people and our history, and that we will make it to that promised land that we always talk about. We are not on a journey to the promised land. We're going to build our promised land. It's going to be built brick by brick, and it's going to take time. It's not going to be built in a day. But we can do that, you know, and we can call it, name it, whatever the hell we want to, and invite whoever the hell we want to, and kick whoever the hell we want to out, you know? So I think that's the thing, is having a love of self and having a love for our people, and letting that be the basis of the conversation. Instead of debating, what can we build together, in this conversation being a problem solving and then ending with solution. And I see that evolution coming about as people get sick and tired of, you know, having, you know, the racial caste system bearing down on our necks, so to speak. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Brother.
Yeah.
I want to know about that thing he was saying with all of the black books and knowledge.
Oh, Black Pantheon.
Pantheon. It was a Black
Yes.
Pantheon, which I don't know what a Pantheon is, but without you having to tell me the whole thing, where can I find it? Or is there somewhere I can find it?
I will send the link to you. I will definitely send the link to you. It's now on a Google Drive. I'm now growing it. It's got various resources, everything you need to know about European history. I'm doing an Asian history segment, and there's an African history segment. There's going to be
Do you do the research for it?
Yes. I do
all of the black people who made guns.
I'm definitely, that's something that we can definitely do.
And the guns inside the thing, please.
Yeah. Because that's.
But you realize in history, we never hear about the black people who fought back.
Oh yeah. And there's dozens of them.
You go talk to a child and ask them about world history or history at all the way up through college.
Only slaughtered.
You never hear about us fighting back. I'll give you the simplest one you want to test out with a kid. Go ask a kid who the Deacons of Defense was.
I don't know who that is. Tell me, please.
Those were brothers who were in a church. That's why I say you don't hear it. Black people in churches don't even talk about it. Who armed up and went against the white racists in the city and the police, and were armed long before the Black Panthers did it.
Yep.
Deacons of Defense.
Deacons of Defense.
Give you another one. The Canadian Church. The Canadian Church. When you look up their history, that history is also placed in the Black Pantheon. That history is rich as well, because you have there. If it weren't for a lot of their story is just amazing, because if it weren't for their fight and their success in Canada, it would be hard for us to have a bridge point here in the United States to do what we did. And it's something, because here in the United States, yes, the Black Church.
Never heard of it.
Yes, there a lot of Caribbeans have gone up to there. The Africans go there. It is like a bridge point to like a lot of the diaspora in the Western Hemisphere. Because, not to say they don't have their racism up there, but the reason why the United States is so strong on making sure we don't know about our neighbors' history is because they've had such stories of resistance, armed defense against white militiamen trying to come across the border to come and slave catch and everything. So that's another point of history. But definitely the Black Pantheon it's got a lot of that information in there. So, I will definitely share a link and everything, and just send a request, because I'm keeping it kind of closed right now because it's still under major construction. Yeah.
I need to get with Kevin, because he got a lot of knowledge that I think we need to put in that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just need people to understand this brother is not getting you a being black for dummies. This is a Mecca, what he has in his hand. He has a Bible. He has information that soon enough will not be found in any library.
Being black for dummies.
Just like
how you think he got on another level.
Yeah, it is.
And that was dope.
I will ask this because I love that he was honest enough to say it. What is the Pantheon? Because I have no idea what the fuck that is.
I don't know what the
Pantheon.
So a pantheon in Rome was a place that was a collection of all the wisdom of the Roman Empire that they got from all over the world. If they took the king's crown, it would be put in the pantheon from another country. If they took, the sword of a conquered general, it would be placed in the pantheon. Their statues, their memorabilia, the golden fleece would be there. You'd have, if there was a pantheon of the future, you'd have the top of the Washington Monument placed in the rotunda of the building in the pantheon. So it's like a Jedi archive, so to speak, of everything that the Roman Empire. It's like display. Look how what we have found in the conquering the wealth that we have, of wisdom and knowledge. It was a place of insight, learning. Philosophers went there, learned. Library was connected to it, much of which the Vatican has access to. We ain't gonna get into conspiracy theories, but but that's a pantheon.
I went to Catholic school. I knew all them. I can't talk the way it is that I be talking. Damn, man. But I knew all them was up to something.
yeah, they got a lot of knowledge from us. But that's what the Black Pantheon is for. It's all ours.
Well, can you get this guy back for? I want to ask you if you can have a special show for me. I want you to know if you could get him back one time for a special show.
He wants to get you back again for a
special show. And I'm serious, although it sounded a little funny. I need you to do a special show about terms that are off limits. Because I was just gonna call a priest. You know what I'm saying?
Say it.
I was just gonna call a priest faggots. Word, I'm 40-something years old, B. Where it is I come from, we used to say faggots. Yo, you was a faggot ass motherfucker. Word to mother. That was some faggot shit you did. It didn't mean you was gay. It just meant you just did some soft shit or you did some tender shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say that now, having that.
They're saying that actually.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. My headphones died. I'm sorry.
No, just terms.
Let me show you something. How old are you?
44.
You're 44 years old, right? You have no problem saying the word nigga.
I do.
Hold on. No, I know you do. I was going to get to that. But you hesitated saying the word faggot. Society has made it so terrible that a 40-year-old man will hesitate saying faggot and say nigga without a problem. And I will tell y'all this, he's trying not to say the word nigga.
Realistically, I got one conscious friend, Tracy. You know Tracy, big sister.
Yeah.
Tracy says, Kevin, we got to work on faggot and nigga.
But why? Why do we give the word faggot the same connotation and power next to the word nigga when nigga has so much more pain and agony to it?
I don't know.
Why is it as Black people we fight for other groups? I'm not saying that you should discriminate against anybody, but I'm saying why are we fighting harder for people to stop saying faggot than we are to stop saying nigga?
And I said to somebody recently, the word nigga, N-I-double-G-A, N-I-double-G-E-R, N-I-C-C-A, negral, any of that. The word nigga is derogatory, okay? I used to battle my business partner, and you know how conscious Lou is. I used to battle my business partner and say, due to the overuse of it, it's now become not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. You know what I'm saying? And it only took me a little bit more interaction to understand that is not the case.
Yeah.
Every time I say nigga, when I say, yo, Casey, my nigga, Remy, you my nigga, whatever, I am openly disrespecting y'all. Dead serious. And there are people who, because we have a relationship, allow that pass. But I need to stop the continued disrespect and
No, and I get that, but what I'm saying is,
no, it's the truth. When I was in Oakland, brother put his hand right on my shoulder. Just leaned in. Yo, little dog, we don't say that around here.
No, and I get that.
Word.
I'm just trying to show you, my whole point was not to say you personally, but to show you that as a melanin society of African people, we were stolen from our homes, beat, chained, murdered, and killed. And yet our people put more pain on a word that doesn't have half of, hold on a second. That doesn't have half of
Can't see it.
that the word nigga has, but we as a people will stop saying faggot faster than we will stop saying
And
nigga.
what got me
And
saying that, he said, the brother says something about the Vatican and Rome, and then he gave them a little bit of respect by not putting them on blast, right? And I was just saying, damn, man, I'm not lying. As a kid in high school, sitting in my 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade class, I was looking at those priests and I was saying they have a gay connotation to them.
Oh yeah, a lot of them do. And
They do.
the sad problem is people like priests, people like police, predators come into those places because they know they're not held accountable.
Yeah.
And that's the
And then
problem. I keep trying to tell people it's not that I hate cops, it's a job. I hate the training. I hate the lack of accountability. And that was what we were going to talk about. And we're going to have to talk about it again probably next week because I want you to segue from where we were talking about guns to talk about some stuff before we get off. But what I'm saying before I get away from that is that there is no accountability. And Black people want to be so right that we don't think about what that cost us. And I say that because a young lady was murdered, 16 years old, a child. And there's so many people wanted to be right that they didn't think about the detriment of the justification they just gave the police for her actions. Why do I say that? Because after George Floyd's verdict came in, 3 people were killed by the police, 64 since the trial verdict. That's a problem. And if you go to a hospital and a doctor or doctors killed 64 people after a hearing of accountability for malpractice, the whole world would be up in arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be the class action lawsuit of the century.
Of the century, but not with the police. So I hate it when people get mad at me for saying we need to learn to arm ourselves. We need to learn to defend ourselves. We need to be able to have Face and Kevin come on and teach you some stuff. So Face, I know you got more to say, but give me a second because I really want him to talk a little bit about some firearm stuff for us. And the reason why is because we've had in our own community some people get called out, and we're not here to drag that person, but it really made me realize that there's a lot of people out there teaching, and a lot of our people don't know that they need to understand what's being said to them. So can you just take a minute and run some of that real quick?
Face, where you at? What state you in?
I'm in Maryland. I'm in Maryland specifically, close to the DC line.
Okay. So what me and Remy was talking about is there's quite a few things that will prevent people from owning firearms and being able to arm themselves. Doesn't mean firearms specifically, because there's other things and other ways we can arm ourselves. And obviously we have to go by some guidelines that the government does set, you know, and there was a few things that leave us non-negotiable. They're not negotiable with this. So whether this message spreads through Remy, whether it spreads through a brother like you who is influential, you know what I'm saying? One thing I want to say is this marijuana is going real legal in a lot of different places, you know what I mean? And marijuana and firearms do not mix and match. All right.
But make sure you tell them not only marijuana, but beer, liquor.
Oh, no, we're going to go into more of that. Yeah. I was going to change that to say any mind altering substance, including that pussy you fucking, does not mix and match with firearms.
How many
brothers
got over sex? Well,
okay.
Lord.
Yeah, but domestic violence is one reason that you cannot own a firearm. And you don't actually have to harm someone to get that domestic charge. Okay, that's number one. You don't actually have to be into something with you and your lady to get a domestic charge. It could be you and your son. It could be you and somebody in your household. What happens is, and they don't have to see that you have firearms. if you're registered or if it's registered, a lot of times when the police come to that household, they know that there's a firearm there or they know who owns a firearm there, especially in the state of California, okay? If they feel that they fear for somebody in that house, or if you've been somebody who's for what they call cooperative or uncooperative, you know, if we fall into that like we do 9 out of 10 times, they have the right to file a domestic charge against you on behalf of those people in that house. I'm not going to say you can quote me on that, but I am going to tell you people who showed me about firearms also hit me to this domestic situation. And whether that's the law or not the law, I'm going to live by that one.
So now here's the thing is, he is right. So let me explain to you why I know personally about that. So there was an activist in, I think it was Seattle, young man, happened to be gay, him and his boyfriend got into an argument in the house. Now they're just two black men, so they're loud. Somebody calls the police under the assumption that they were hurting each other, especially because they were intimate. They took his guns. They called it a domestic violence situation. Just like you said, not the boyfriend. The boyfriend is on camera saying, that's the only thing that's probably saving him right now while he's in court. What are you doing? We are fine.
And that is where they're saying, whoever they are, the government, the police officers, the institutions, that's where they're saying, we may not want to believe that person, so we're going to give this,
just so we're clear,
crazy racist possibly.
That's the only done majority in melanin communities.
Yes.
They use that to take our firearms.
So,
why? Because I can also tell you cases of white men and white women with a white man, and she clearly looked like she was beat, and the police left him with his guns, told her to leave, and he drove to the hotel where she wasn't shot.
And shot her. And I understand that. And
you know,
I know
so
that
even if we know there's a bias and a double standard, listen to what Kevin's saying. Know that I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. Men or women, know that any person that you're with willing to call the police on you, and you have not, listen to what I'm saying, and you have not put your hands on them and harmed them in a way that they needed to call the police, leave them right away.
That ain't nothing to get in trouble from. Moving on from there, no, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because these type of people shouldn't own guns either. Mentally ill people. And there's many people that are mentally ill that never got an evaluation. Okay? But if they evaluate their own life, if you look at some of the things that they're capable of doing, you know, and I say they, I'm not trying to single anybody out, you know, because that is where it is something touchy came about when we spoke of mental illness, all right? Mental illness is something that the government does not deem you can be, you can have or have had, and also own firearms.
Again, you know, me, got to come in, pro-black guy. But it's also interesting that most of our mass shooters who were white had mental illness and still were allowed to. So just so you're clear, as I keep telling my black people, there's a double standard. So if you have depression, if you have those feelings, not you, if somebody you know has those, and they have firearms, you should protect them.
I'm going to say, if you have depression, if you have those feelings, also if you can't handle yourself because your wife fucked another man, right?
Don't go buy a gun.
Don't go buy a gun. Don't go to the gun range.
Don't.
Find yourself a way to learn jujitsu. Go learn boxing. Go learn kickboxing. Go to something yoga. Like that. Go to yoga. Learn how to
But
get
we're
your
begging
chi.
you not to be funny, but because
don't come to the gun range, please.
I don't want you to be in a dark place and take your own life.
You got an argument with your, and I'm a man, so I'm just gonna keep saying you got an argument with your wife. If you're a lady and you got a problem with your 15-year-old son, you got a problem with your man, whatever it is, don't take your anger to the gun range. Anger and gun ranges don't work good together. There's no symmetry there, okay? So mental illness, these mind-altering drugs, those two things specifically, guns and that don't mix. It don't mix to the government. And technically, I'm going to keep it real. It don't mix to the shooters. It don't mix to the responsible gun owners, okay? Remy has laid it down many times, yo. I went out one night when we was in Arizona, and the brother said, yo, do me a favor,
Make sure the firearm is already back there. I didn't even debate him on that shit because that's normally what it is. I'm gonna pass. What you mean? Yo, you know I ain't gonna bring my gun when I'm going out drinking. Word. That just skip it all. I didn't have a problem with him second checking me on that one because I understand that one. Any of the mind altering things. Moving on from some of that mind altering stuff, your felons. Okay, they deem that a way for you to not have a gun or own a gun, but there is ways, like the brother hit me to, for felons to expunge their cases and do some of the research. And
it's expensive.
It is expensive, but don't ever stop.
Yeah.
Try and find
Word.
yourself pro bono. And
Word.
we saying words, pro bono means try and find yourself somebody free. Try and find yourself somebody who's willing to work on your case.
I hate to say it, but free is you. Do your homework. Do your research.
Very true.
Like, I don't depend on another person because they'll take your money and you might end up in the same situation.
Very true.
Do your own research. The more you know, the better off you are.
Very, very.
And I mean, just speaking on the mental illness piece, you know, there's been people, even myself, back in August. You know, there was I've lost a friend out on the protest line. In fact, in the city of New York, at a protest, and things went awry. This was during the Occupy Wall Street time period. And so, but long story short, when I was there this past August, you know, something transpired, and you know, I had just a simple baton. You know what I'm saying? But I was having my PTSD moment, and it was when your mind alters like that. Only those who have had post-traumatic stress syndrome understands what happens with that. You get in that snappy mode, it's fight or flight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, I was like, I was literally, you know, I'm still respected in the community for doing one thing. I said, I had a PTSD episode, you know? I said in that PTSD episode, I was emotionally compromised. I took myself and I stepped down from all duties in the protest. And I said, I'm going to get myself mentally evaluated. I'm going to find out how I can fix this. I'm going to take personal responsibility to handle this situation. And I handed to my elders that baton. You know what I'm saying? That I used to defend myself. You know,
this is a big problem in the Black community. Mm-hmm. What he just said, that's real gangster. If you know your emotional state is not there, when I hear brothers talking about, I ain't talking about that, I ain't going to do this, I ain't going to no doctor, I ain't going to no stuff, that's not gangster. That's cowardly. Because you're scared to sit down in front of somebody and say, I hurt. I have pain. Ask his brother how many times I've called him, or even KC. I call him about my wife. I call him about my daughter. I call him about myself. I would much rather be strong enough to look a man in his eye and say, yo, bro, right now, I don't feel like I'm 100%.
And that give other people that's around you the 100% okay to, but you're there for the return investment. You understand? Honestly, you're there for the return investment.
That's how you build trust in your community.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
yeah, exactly.
There's nothing that you wouldn't advocate for that I would want to do research for, because if you're, you know, so many times in our interaction and in our life, I approve your message. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't second guess it. And that does come from.
I love him, but he does second guess it. I love you though.
Okay. But I wouldn't second guess action.
No. When I say second guess it, it's never in a negative. He'll always come to me and be like, hey, I know who you are, so I'm about to fuck with you. I got a question for you. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Guaranteed.
Right.
There's also a time that you say, yo, grab all your guns and come on. And I didn't ask you.
Oh, no, that's different.
Why?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean now.
You know, and that was just to clean guns.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I got a cleaning gun session. Every time, this is, you know what? That's instrumental. This is real shit. Every time somebody got something for you, we can't, and we got to learn not to question that person all the way down to the last compound about why you call me and say, yo, bring your guns, come over right now, I got something for you. You understand? Because
that means you don't trust the person.
That was a lot of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth.
That was a lot of knowledge, and it put me up on something that took me so much further. But you and I have that time that we invested, you know what I'm saying? That I know to trust that.
when
That's
you call
true.
me and say, and
I think
I could have came over like, yo, what's going on?
right.
I didn't need none of that because really it was just like, all right, pull out your brushes. I got this weird ass oil right here, yo, bro. Can you know what I'm saying?
We got to learn to trust each other, and that's only comes from being transparent. And I learned this the hard way. A man who never fails in front of me, and anything he does, every time I talk to him, I just won the lottery. I just smashed 16 girls in one day. It's like you're lying to me because we all fail at some time. We all go through a hardship, and if you never do, I'm not your true friend.
Right.
I know that because you don't. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It means you just don't trust me to talk to me about it.
I mean that yeah.
Like that's got to be okay.
No, and it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But also, it also builds the difference between if you call me Kevin, I'll show up because I know you're transparent with me. So if I gotta show up, I'm coming up because I know you. But somebody who can never share that
I
with
heard
me,
that shit you said when I was late the other day before you hung up the phone.
what?
Yo, he was like, you see, and this freaking motherfucker wasn't even home. It didn't even matter. He was like, you see, this is why you know the people in your life.
Oh yes,
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Let me do him a favor and let me hang up. Let me hang up right now and do him a favor.
I wish you'd have listened.
I knew he was talking about me. You know what
Hell
I'm saying?
yeah! I don't know. Anybody in my life who knows me, I used to be a hothead. I used to try to change people, tell people about themselves, everything. What I don't do now, I know my friends.
But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I was here on time, right?
Today, yes.
And I'll be saying to myself, man, Remy, man, why you got no? But this is all on someone else's time. It's all on the engineer's time.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, brothers. I appreciate y'all giving me the chance to hear, type in whatever, you know what I mean? I thanks that too. But dead serious, it's all on someone else's time. And I, if I didn't have the concept of it, I know when it's with you, I be trying to have the closest concept.
But do you understand what you just said to me? Because he knows me. When you knowingly know somebody, when you get mad at him, it's your fault because you know who your man's is.
Right.
And I wish you had listened to the rest of this because Crystal said this. She goes, if you call Kevin for any randomness, he's gonna be late and he may not show up at all. But let me call Kevin and say something wrong with Kareem.
Yeah, we'll be there.
You know what I mean? I don't need you.
know
I don't. No, not only that, his brother, he gonna probably hate both of us. His brother is the fucking worst. With one communicating and two showing up to shit. But let my daughter show up in town. He don't not only show up, he stays for hours.
Yeah.
And as a grown man, I don't need you to be there for me because you trust that I'm a hustler. But I need you to be there for my daughter.
But for us, and it's been like that, it's crazy to say for the past, let's say 15 years, we're not at home. You know what I'm saying? We on the West Coast and we New Yorkers, and there's other elements of our New York faction, and it's always been a family element at some point. There was other people who started shooting with you and I. You know what I'm saying? Segueing back into shooting. There was other people who started shooting with you and I. There were other people who took our advice and purchased firearms behind you and I that have not actively come out shooting with us, that we're never going to count them out,
Right.
But that family element, what it is you were able to do for our family and then bestow it upon me and me seeing how serious you took it. So now I wanted to do something to show my brother that I could take this serious.
Did he take it seriously? We are going. We messed up today and I got to bring both of them back. I wanted to give Face None. I wanted to give you time to really talk about defense and how you changed the idea. I'm gonna find a different word for it, Kevin. Of protesting. I'm gonna have you come back for that, and I wanted Kevin to really go into this gun knowledge because, these two things I feel are important in our community. Why? I disagree with a lot of people. I think protesting did a lot for us this year.
I think it did.
I think it did a lot for legislation that got passed. I heard you say that a young man said it didn't.
Hey, Mr. Face.
Yes.
Next time we talk, you're going to have to answer up for some of the people who destroy shit. Not you're going to have to answer up, but
we gotta have
you're in the trenches.
Now
we're talking with you and knowing what type of sensible, good brother you are.
Yeah.
I would trust.
I said, that ain't us.
No, but
what would you say?
I would say to those people, on the protest line, they always called me the younger uncle. I'm the one that's like, I understand how they feel, but I'm like, you can't do it, bro. Because I tell it to them like this. I'm like, you destroyed something that you're actually paying for with your taxes. In DC, it's like, it's like,
get up.
I'm like,
why?
I do agree. But it's like, for me, it's like, I've always tried to teach them. I'm like, okay, you tear that down. The only thing they're going to do in Washington, D.C., we see it done every single time. They get those people with the jet sprays, those special industrial jet sprays. They spray that spray paint right on off. And they just like, okay, you guys had your hissy fit. All right, back to normal, back to old beautiful white men.
Now.
Right. But that's the thing. I think
shit down, but you're doing it in our communities.
And I think
I would.
I think what
is there a way for us to? Because this is the reason I asked him that. Because he's in the trenches physically. Is there a way for us to say that's off limits?
That's what he does.
I see a lot of
He knows how to put it properly.
Because the thing is like, and I hate to say this, but it's like so many times the allies, they come in with their own political ideologies. They strong socialist this, they strong Marxist that, they strong everything but black issue. And what happens is on the front line, they compile their issues and say, oh, I'm marching for trans today. I'm marching for this today. I'm marching for non-binary, all these definitions and pluralities they got. Today we marching for the Middle East and undocumented people coming from Mexico. It's like, oh, excuse me, we got the black people on the agenda. Oh, yeah, y'all in there too. We'll chant you several times. But the whole thing is when they get into these, pardon my phrase, but they get into the fuck shit, they had this saying in DC, it's like, what you see, you ain't see shit. What you see, you ain't see shit, And so they get into these sessions, but the white people, what started to happen is black youth started to realize, hey, I'm getting my ass beat down by the police, and these white people walking away with emotional trauma. Like what? It's like when you getting your ass whooped, they're like saying emotional trauma. Becky, go home. Becky, go home with that. She needs to take a whole month off. I mean, like some of these allies, they have to take months off because of one experience with a police officer. And we're like, this is life. What you think? You gonna stand up for Black lives and not get your ass whooped? So it's like that. What we're seeing is the way we're changing protests is saying, when you're going out there, first of all, who's leading? Is it one of your elders? Does your community know where you are? Can we back you up? Can we? Because in the streets of Washington, D.C., there are people like, you coming down the street? Bet. I got the door open for you. You come in the back gate, I got you. We're going to act like we're sitting down to lunch. I got to change your clothes for you. We look out for one another. And we say, look, you coming through, but don't come through with them crazy allies because they don't know how to act. And what happens is
he was saying it wasn't us.
Yes, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. Yeah.
I hate to bust you because I really need you to come back. Like,
awesome.
Please.
Awesome. Yes, of course.
The comment section loves you. They love when you come on.
I appreciate you doing this too.
Nah, this is dope.
This was an honor. Thank you so much.
What we did right here today shed some light on my situation, on our personal relationship, on the relationship between myself and the protests. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Those three things, it shed positive light on that. You know what I'm saying? Thanks a lot for actually doing this, inviting me here.
Yeah. But we gotta do it again.
Yes.
So please,
yes.
Yes. I just want to say thank you. As you know, we were gonna
fuck that. I ain't get my segment, B. Word to mother. You got to make sure all guns are empty when you pull them out. First things first. You understand? I'm going to show you that this gun is clear. Word to mother. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you that this gun is clear. Always make sure there's 4 basic gun safety laws. Every gun we treat it as if it's loaded, okay? All the time. We are always going to keep our finger off the trigger unless we are out on target and we know what we want to shoot. You must be very, very, very cautious of your surroundings, your backstop,
what's going on around you, what's to the left of your target, the right of your target, who's in, you know, your 180. Notice I'm holding this gun ahead of him, out, down, pointed in a safe direction. Always point your guns in a safe direction. This is definitely, those were some key ways to make sure nobody gets shot that might be with you. We were supposed to talk some gun laws, but I'm going to tell you about this Beretta real fast. No, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to check my YouTube channel, World Famous Gun Show. Yo, when you do your gun, don't just be like this and let it down like that, all fucking faggot. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when you got your gun like this, yo, bang. You know what I'm saying? Let that joint go, yo. Where's the mother?
Yes. Once again, I'm here to just give, you know, our people a place to call home at the Black Pantheon, place of knowledge, learning, and everything. It was an honor coming on. Once again, breaking bread with brothers of my people, the people that I love and serve. You know, I look forward to building with you guys. I look forward to giving our people knowledge and helping our people get to the future that they deserve. So,
Face. Hold on. Black-owned gun store right here in LA, Redstone Firearms. They sell on the internet. You can get right on their website if you need anything, and you can say Remy, and they're gonna charge you more. You see?
Redstone Firearms, got you.
Where to find you, bro?
Yes. My Instagram is Art of Purpose 726. I am going to be putting up more content because I'm getting back into mentoring mode. I'm also going to be making another IG account specifically for Black Pantheon lesson making. And I'll be working with Remy on some future things. You know, we'll unveil that later. But yes, I'm going to be, that's where you can find me. Inbox me for protesters who want to actually do, like, you know, one-on-one discussions, what have you. I do those things for people who want to get involved with the movement, give to the movement, suggestions on where to make, you know, your donations for your local Black community worthwhile and not just tokenized. I can guide you on that too. So yes, I'm a public servant, you know, for my people, and so just hit me up there.
Kevin, tell them how to find you.
Yo, yeah, because I just hit you up, yo. I just hit you up.
Awesome.
On Instagram, World Famous Gun Show, World Famous _Gun Show. I also just started a YouTube channel, and it's also World Famous Gun Show. My purpose of even doing that is to, you know, spread some gun safety, number one, but also be the conduit in between the people who have the know-how and the people who don't have the know-how. You know, sometimes, like Remy said, everybody don't have that person to praise, like how we were talking about praising people. Everybody don't have that person to praise because they're just not those interactive type of people. Some people might watch myself, like I'm going to turn around and I'm going to pay attention to that Black Pantheon. I commented on your page, my brother, and I just followed you. Yo, please, if you can, inbox me something or put me on your list. You know
got you.
Gun Show, for sure.
And this is the
all right.
Black Voices Uncensored. I thank both of my guests that came on today. I thank y'all for listening, for tuning in. I thank you guys in the back, Kira and KC. I feel like I left the slut out, so I should ask him, KC, do you want to say anything before we leave?
Yo, but why you got to talk to the man like that?
He owns his.
Well, real quick on that whole slut thing. It wasn't. I didn't say use me as an example because I'm a slut or I'm a whore, but the fact that that there is a fetishism of white women from Black men. But what I would say to the last girl I was with, who was white, I would say, I'm not with you because you're white. I'm with you in spite of you being white. Because like Remy, I do a lot of speaking. I'm wearing a Black Fathers Matter shirt right now. You know what I'm saying? But that same white girl, Remy would buy, buy stuff from her business and all that. So it's like, it wasn't like an anti-Black type situation. I mean, anti-white situation. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in. White.
I respect the hell out of that, KC. I respect the hell out of that.
I carry a pistol, and I do believe they will be faster to call the police on you for anything. I sneezed in her house.
And the response will be faster too.
You know what I'm saying? So truthfully, I don't bone white joints. I don't even jack off the white porn, B. Fuck that.
I stick to the melanin. I stick to the melanin.
Always Kevin to say the things that we got to close out on. I don't know how to go after that. Like, I don't know what to say.
No, but I don't mean nothing bad.
I know.
I watch the white women in porn. I just won't Do it to them.
We're gonna close. Sydney, I'm sorry. Thank you, Sydney. On the way to radio, we appreciate you. Sydney is the queen of all queens.
Sydney, that's that lady that told me to get on the OTW too.
Yes, OTW
Man, what's wrong with you? OTW2.com.
People used to say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, nah, not for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough, but never ball. In the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me the raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting. Daddy wasn't brave and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves and amazed with our burdens. Trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person, but if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I know there's people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.